Welcome to Dip Wars, where NFL rivalries get settled in the kitchen. This week, it's a Super Bowl rematch, with the Eagles throwing down a Philly cheesesteak dip loaded with ribeye, onions, and Cooper Sharp American. The Chiefs, they're running a Burnt Ends BBQ Dip with brisket, cheddar, and smoked gouda. Two powerhouse food cities, two legendary fan bases, one winner. Honestly, both of these sound dangerous. So which side are you taking? Cheesesteak or barbecue? Now let's get it. I melted down a little beef tallow here, getting these Vidalia onions in the pan. You really got to cook these low and slow. Most likely going to take about 30 minutes to really caramelize these. Patience really is the key, and it pays off here. And you got to do Vidalia only. Now, I know people would fight you in Philly over the wrong onions, but the sweetness here really cuts through all the cheese that's going to be layered in here. This is the color you're going for, this deep golden brown. I know this episode is going to be littered with controversy, so we might as well throw some in here at the minute mark. Yes, these are green bell peppers. I like having them in my cheesesteak. This is my show, so we're doing green bell peppers. I'm going to take some of this beef tallow to get some of the flavor off the bottom of this pan. And here we are with one of the stars of the dish, this shaved ribeye. Now, I took this and cubed it up a little bit just to make it easier, just because I'm going to break it up. So if you're a fan of Pat's in Philly, you might want to turn away now. Listen, this is going to be in a dip. I don't want to pull out 4 inches of steak every time I put a chip in there. Controversy number 2, add my own seasoning. Here we go with the Fire and Smoke Steak King seasoning. I prefer that over just salt and pepper. We're going to cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes. We're really just looking for some crispy edges along the side. Now, you didn't think we were going to dump this with plain chips, did you? Nah. Now, look, I don't have access to a Philly deli roll, but I figured at least we could do some homemade garlic bread crostinis. Took some softened butter, added some garlic and some dried parsley. We're going to add that here to the top of our sliced fresh baguette. If you want to stick to something a little bit more authentic, you don't have to do this part. You could just take this baguette, rip it apart, and just dip it straight into the cheesesteak dip if you want. But I toasted these more for the textured element that it would bring. So let's take these caramelized onions and green peppers. These are going to go in this softened cream cheese here, along with some sour cream. Now, I know I'm not giving measurements, but just a reminder, the recipe is going to be pinned at the top of the comments for this video. Now that we got the veggies and the softened cream cheese and the sour cream all mixed up, now we're going to pretend that this is like the Ravens defense in the fourth quarter, and we're going to fold this steak in. Damn, we suck. Anyway, the idea here is to get this mixed together well so that you get a scoopable cheesesteak in every bite. Now, I know Philly fans are going to fight you over cheesesteak rules, but here's mine. Ribeye, caramelized Vidalias, and Cooper Sharp American. So this would be a good time to share something with you from the Cheesesteak Bible. It's a passage from the book of Philadelphians, chapter 40, verse 22, and it reads, East Philadelphia, born and raised. Eating Cooper Sharp American cheesesteaks is how I spent most of my days. And no, I'm not using Cheese Whiz. Don't even start with that. You can fight me in the comments if you want. Getting this topped with some sliced cheese before we get it in the oven. It's going to be in there for about 20-25 minutes at 350. Now, I'm planning on putting this right back in under the broiler. And I set aside some steak and some of the peppers and onions earlier. That way the top isn't just melted cheese. It's going to give you a preview of what's underneath. This is actually, now that I'm looking at it, almost like a cheesesteak lasagna. Maybe? No noodles? I'm sure it's a thing if I looked it up. So let's get this thing under the broiler. We're going to have it on low for about 2 minutes. I have been looking forward to making this all week long, and I cannot wait to jump in here. Unfortunately, I got to wait a couple extra seconds here so I don't melt the roof of my mouth. This thing was hot as shit. And I don't even know why I have these scoops here on this tray. I'm going all in on these garlic bread crostinis. So, yeah, that's amazing. Creamy, beefy. You get the onion, exactly what you'd want at an Eagles tailgate. Taste-wise, I'm going to go with a 9.1. Execution, I got to be honest here. I'm going to go with a 9.5. I'm a dumbass. I had my broiler on high instead of low for 2 minutes. That's why you get the little extra leopard print on here. So if you're into dips, rivalries, and maybe a little trash talk, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. So let me know in the comments if you make this dip on game day. And if you're a Cowboys or Giants fan watching this, just drop a crying emoji in the comments. You already know why. All right, Chiefs fans, let's get into the burn ends and see what all the smoke's about. Just remember, There ain't no refs coming to help you on this one. So while I was busy talking shit and transitioning to this dish, I missed the part where we had some beef tallow melting down while I was getting these burnt ends prepped and chopped up. Trying to get these into more manageable bite-sized pieces instead of the larger ones they were at before. You also saw me sprinkle in some brisket rub, probably like 2 tablespoons, just really trying to build out the depth of barbecue flavor here. Now we're going to come in with some barbecue sauce. This is specifically Kansas City style. It's definitely thicker and sweeter than Carolina vinegar or the Texas tomato base. Now listen, you're not here to learn the secrets of making the perfect brisket. And if you want that, go check out Max the Meat Guy or Meat Church Barbecue because those guys will take you to school. Let's get into building out this creamy barbecue base. I got some softened cream cheese and then some mayonnaise and about a half a cup of barbecue sauce, the same ones that we mixed in with the brisket earlier. Then we're going to come in with some green onions, give a little bit of freshness and brightness to the bite. Then we're sprinkling a little bit of smoked paprika, just trying to keep building these layers of barbecue smoky goodness here. Now, obviously, this dip would be nothing without the cheese. So we got some sharp cheddar here for a little bit of bite. We're going to shred that down. Next, we're coming in with a little smoked gouda. Gouda is great for those gooey pulls. Luckily, the gouda won't melt faster than KC's defense recently. Next, we're going to bring back in the brisket that we warmed up in the beef tallow earlier and got it really caramelized and sticky with the barbecue sauce and brisket rub. And speaking of sticky, that's the exact situation that the Chiefs find themselves in this year. AFC West is looking tough. I'm thinking the Chargers are going to end up pulling it out. Denver's going to be right behind them. It's not too crazy to think that the Chiefs are in 3rd place in the AFC West by the end of the year. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now let's get back to this dish. So we've put in the shredded sharp cheddar, the shredded smoked gouda. We're just really trying to incorporate this, get this all mixed together as best as we possibly can. And as you can see, this is about ready to go. Now that we've got this transferred over to the baking dish, guess what? More cheese. Get that in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350. Just like we did earlier with the Philly cheesesteak dip, we're going to take it out. This time we're going to put some of the leftover barbecue burnt ends on top. Similar concept as before, right? First of all, you can never have enough meat. So that's definitely going to go on top. For one, just because of that. For two, it lets everybody know what's inside underneath the cheese. But let's keep it real. You could stop after reason 1. You don't need another reason to add more meat. Fortunately, I learned from my previous mistake. This broiler, on low. Same thing, 2 minutes in and out. And if that's not enough, we're adding some sprinkled of fried onion strings on top, hitting it with some glossy barbecue drizzle, and then coming over top with some scallions to finish it off. These barbecue smells have been building for a while in here. So let's dive in here for a taste. Now I'm going to start with these garlic bread crostinis, just like I did before on the Philly cheesesteak dip. Yep, and there goes the first layer of skin inside my mouth. Look, I don't want KC to win. I'll be straight with you. I'm a hater at heart. I'm rooting against them always. But this dip, damn it, it's freaking delicious. Taste-wise, I'm going to go with a 9.2. Execution, we're going to hit it with a 9.5. KC, you got me on this one. Now vote in the comments. Let me know if you think Philly takes week 2 or if you're riding with the Chiefs. All right, you've seen it. Philly cheesesteak dip versus burnt ends barbecue dip. You know where my heart's at. My taste buds are a little confused since I came in already thinking that the Philly cheesesteak was going to pull out the dub. Next week, Cowboys versus Bears. Brisket mac and cheese dip versus Italian beef dip. You're not going to want to miss it. See you next game.